Hi, I'm Peter Brusso for 101 Small Business Mastermind, and we got the whole crew with us again this week. Say good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Frank.
And say good morning, Dick.
Good morning, Dick.
All right, there we go. And I'm going to start out my A block with sharing. We're going to be sharing right here, this PDF. So guys, let me know when this comes in for you. I'm sure it's going to be fine on mine because I can float it in and out, but let me know so when it comes in.
Yeah, we got it. It's clear.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Now, per a conversation Frank and I had a week or so ago, you know, one of the things that people don't know is how to do publicity properly, particularly flyers and the same is true for business cards, brochures, everything. And so I'm going to go through the pieces that you need to have to make a great flyer, and I'll have this up on the podcast so they can download this for their own use on their computer. And excuse the fact that I use this to teach my self-defense weapons instructors how to make a flyer. But instead of redoing everything, I just thought I'd grab this. All right. The first thing you gotta know, and you know what I was gonna do and I forgot to do it, darn it, but if any of you got any mail graphic card or something in the mail, you can do it the acid test wise here. But the first thing you have to have is an action graphic. And an action graphic moves your eye right to the headline. Now you can see here, I've got these arrows that kind of flow and it runs into the headline. The one below, that graphic is not an action graphic, it just sits there. So your eye has to try to figure out where to go. That's a very poor graphic. And you guys can stop me at any time you want along the way here. So the number one thing, the most important thing on the whole thing happens to be an action graphic, as shown here. And that action graphic must lead you to your headline, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The next major piece of a headline is a headline must have a U in it, Y-O-U, or an implied U, not as good. So here's an example. You will learn to protect your family. That's a good headline. Poor headline. Defense doesn't need to be difficult. Very poor. Okay? And so always put a U. People want to know what's in it for them. And so a good headline has to have a U in it. All right. Now we've got an action graphic and we got a good headline. The next one are subheads. Now the same thing is true. You want to have an implied U if you can into a subhead, okay? And in this one, you will learn to protect your family, and this will happen in 30 minutes. Again, it's a benefit-driven type of subhead. Imagine the wonderful feeling of walking without fear. The seminar, in the seminar, you will da 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 da. Okay, it's got a U, it's got a feel to it. You're going to get something emotional out of it, and that's what a good subhead drives. And by the way, I forgot to point out, a headline should be in very large font size. Subheads are just slightly below that. 18-point font is good. If you're going to use a headline, a 14-point font is the next one below it. All right, so you've got an action graphic, you've got a headline and a subhead, key pieces. The next thing you want is your ad copy. We call any text there follows called ad copy. You want bullet points of a benefits-driven thing, not features. Features don't sell, benefits sell. So here's some examples of good benefits from this particular flyer. There's a U again, you will learn to defend yourself against a violent attack or attacker. It's easy to learn. It's fun to learn. These are benefits. You will come away empowered. You won't have fear of being attacked ever again. Your family will walk without fear. You will get a self-defense weapon as part of the class. These are all very positive benefits, very powerful benefits that go directly to the bottom line, and that being the person reading it. And these are poor ones. Self-defense weapon comes in black and color black. Who cares, right? Only 30 people in a class, slight benefit, not much. A self-defense tool fits in your hand. Well, duh, it should. I call that a fresh fish statement, by the way. And my fresh fish statement is so many people utilize a chunk of ad space for fresh fish. When you go to the store and they have in the window, it says fresh fish today, that's a waste of good store's window space because you expect to have fresh fish. Duh. Salmon on sale today. That's a better use. Okay. So self-defense tool fits in your hand. Duh, fresh fish. The self-defense tool comes in 9 models. Who cares? Only strong people can defend themselves. Really take horrible. So your benefits have to be, your bullet points need to be benefits driven, not feature driven. And then the next one is you have to have a call to action. People, unfortunately, a lot of places say people are stupid. You got to tell them what you want them to do. Well, it's kind of sort of true. They're not stupid, mind you, but you got to tell them what you want them to do. So a call to action is a premium piece, and it's underneath those benefits because you want to tell them, hey, you want to make a telephone call, or do an email, something to that effect. Sign up today, but you need a good call to action. Good calls to action. Enroll today, only 30 students will be taken. That's kind of a threat. You better do it now or you're going to miss out. 10 more students slots available, so call today. All of these force you into some kind of action. If you enroll today, you get 10% off your tuition. By Friday, you get 10% off your tuition. So these are all really good calls to actions. Poor calls to actions don't imply anything. Come by and sign up. It starts next week. We handle all those who are interested. Those are very poor calls to action. Now, the next piece is, and this is kind of a mind blower, next to your telephone number, which should be in the bottom right-hand side of the flyer, you want an icon. You want an action telephone icon. If you have an icon of a telephone ringing, believe it or not, statistically, you'll get 25% more callers. We don't know why, but in fact, it's quite true. So you want an action graphic icon. You see, this one's ringing off and kind of throwing your eye towards the telephone number. This is probably the best breed of this group. And your telephone number needs to be in the same size font as your headline, bottom right hand. In America, we read top to bottom, left to right. So the most important stuff is at the top left and at the bottom right of your flyer or your materials. So the next thing is never use inverse video. This is regular text right here. And inverse video text is a white letter on dark background. Well, here that is. And if you look at it, it's 25% harder for the human eye to read the inverse video than it is just regular text. That's why you should never use it for anything that you want them to read much of. You can get away with it in a headline. You can get away with it with a telephone number, but not anything you want them to read. Why in heaven's name would you make it 25% harder for them to read your ad copy? It doesn't make any sense. And so you'd never use inverse video. And so what does this look like? Well, here's what a good website or a good flyer looks like. Here's your action graphic leading right to your very large headline with a U in it. You can see there's a U. Subhead, it'll be a wonderful time walking without fear. In this seminar, you will, learn to defend yourself. It's easy to learn. These are these are the bullet points that are a benefit bullet points. Here's my call to action, 10 more student slots available, so call now. Here's my action graphic leading to the call. Notice it's in the bottom right, and this is in the top left. The two most important pieces of the real estate are covered, and that's how you build a flyer that works, and it works for your website, in many cases, all print material. So without any further ado, I'll stop sharing, and do you have any questions?
I have a statement.
Yes, go ahead.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen you and heard you do this. And
is that good?
In this case, it is. Every time you do this, I go, wow. It's concise. It's it's well laid out. Well, because it's a flyer as well. But even everything it just it's like walking down a set of stairs. You know, you don't skip a stair because you could trip. There's no need to trip, and it's just so logical. And when you see the final flyer at the end, it's so clean, and every piece has a reason for being there.
Hmm.
And I enjoy watching you do this. It's good.
Well, you know, last week in your Misfits and Rebels and Misfits meeting, you know, we saw a business card. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, the major piece of that business card didn't have a U in it.
Right.
No
Right.
action graphic, nothing that draws the eye, no benefits driven. Remember in the week before there, 2 weeks before that, I said, where's the benefits? I want to know what's in it for me. And, you know, we kind of get lost in making materials like that because we think we have to be factual. Well, we do have to be factual, but we have to be factual in a way that's a benefit to the reader, not to us. That's the shift difference.
Yeah, I agree.
Dick, you want to weigh in on that? Do you have anything? Unmute yourself there, Dick.
No, no. I've like Frank. I've seen this. You present this many times, and I was a recipient of it when we were working my Legal Shield business card with the CD, and you really prompted me and taught me how to, you know, like you did today, just what's the right way and the wrong way. So yeah, it's another valuable tool for your business. Yes.
Yeah, and I swear, you know, it goes all the way across from business cards to flyers to threefold brochure. Everything follows the same kind of look, touch, and feel, I think. And if there was anything, Frank, that we could get across to newbies and people starting their business is to give them stuff that works, you know.
Yeah.
Give them a chance, folks. And so that's good. And I'll have that on the website, obviously, that they can download it. Be a link right there, so they'll open it. It'll open on their computer, and they can save as and use it as an example. And again, I apologize. I used it for my Defender business, but I teach every one of our instructors how to build flyers that work for them, which is kind of cool. So, all right, without any further ado,
There's that magic sound of the ticker tape.
all
That
right.
means it's time for the twin. And this week's twin is about a lady named Amber Blonigan. And
Who the heck is Amber Blonigan?
I am so glad you asked there, Karnak. And because we were talking before the show went on the air about one of your friends who's starting a business and he wants to start it disruptively. And I didn't know that, but Amber did just that. Let me tell you about Amber.
I'd love to hear about Amber.
Yes. Amber grew up in Minnesota, North Dakota, and upstate New York. And as a young lady, she did more boy things than girl things. She was not into doing hair and makeup or Barbie dolls. That just wasn't for Amber. She was about things that went fast, like bobsled races. I guess you could say Amber was a how fast can things go junkie. That's just the way she was. Tomboy, I don't think does enough justice. Well, Amber grew up and went to school and became a Series 7 broker, which means she could do variable annuities and that kind of thing, stockbroker. But she really liked cars, and to no surprise, especially fast cars. That's as a child. And as she states later, she spent a lot of money on her cars to do the extra things that she really didn't need, but she really, really wanted. Amber now became a car junkie. But also at this time, Amber was struggling with how she felt about her career in finance because she would meet many people who were inspired and excited to go to work every day. And Amber realized that she wasn't inspired or excited. She did her job. And she says, you know what? I want to be inspired and excited like they were. But this is my job. It's what I was trained to do. And I guess I'm stuck doing what I'm doing because I do it pretty good as a financial advisor. Well, after hanging out in a few car shops waiting for a BMW to be serviced, Amber noticed the following things about car shops. Number one, they needed a more customer service oriented approach. They just went there. Number two, they needed to be a lot cleaner. And number three, they needed a fresh image to the public of what a car shop was. And she was there a lot with her BMW. So Amber gathered together people who knew a lot more about cars than she did, and she put together a new concept for an auto shop. This is the Series 7 broker. And she shared it. All, again, inspired and excited. That's what she wanted to be. She was inspired and excited. And after she finished, everybody thought she was nuts. Her family wouldn't even acknowledge her idea of her new car shop.
Really?
To them, a car shop was dirty and was filled with, this is their quote, not mine, uneducated men, nasty men, all covered in oil. Ugh. Well, Amber got distressed and depressed that the people she cared about did not like her new idea. And she says, man, how far off can I be? She says, well, she approached a friend, a respected friend who was a successful entrepreneur. And she shared with him her idea for a different kind of car repair and performance shop. He listened and listened and said 6 words to her. 7 words, as a matter of fact. Because he says, Amber, you can do anything you want. Well, Amber remembers how she heard that saying so many times before, but at that time, where she was in her life, coming for a friend she respected, to Amber, it was a life-changing moment. And ever since that meeting, everything she did from then on was a step forward to get to her passion for this new idea for a car shop. So in 2004, at the age of 25, remember she's a kid, 25, with $30,000 and having a 2-week-old baby, how's that for commitment? Amber left her career as a financial advisor to start a company called GI Automotive Group with her ex-husband. He had a background in racing and restoring cars, so she'd be perfect. But as she looks back, she questions how really invested was he in the success of this business. Maybe it was Amber's business. You just brought him on board to help out. He would frequently say to Amber, you are going to lose a lot of money. Don't do that. And that is stupid. And Amber says, okay. But she persevered and started to look in a Santa Monica area for a location to rent. And Amber was, listen to her criteria. She was looking for a place that didn't do a lot of business and wanted or maybe needed to lease out their shop. And she found what she thought was a perfect spot in Santa Monica. As she describes it, the place looked like a wrecking yard. The cars hadn't been moved in years. They were covered in dirt. She says, perfect. She walked in and says, hi. She says, I'd like to lease your property or possibly even buy it. Who do I need to talk to? And that's when she faced discrimination. The gentleman, and I'm using the gentleman loosely because he was a jackass, responded rudely, what? And he shooed her away like she was a little kid. She was 25-year-old lady. But Amber persevered. She came back and says, no, seriously, I want to have my own car shop. Can we talk? The guy never took her seriously and was rude to her, so she left. So Amber sent her male friends back, and they negotiated a lease for Amber to open GI Automotive Group. Amber opened her doors and started looking for business. Where do you look for business? She called her broker friends. most of which were driving expensive cars, and told them about her new shop. Well, some of them came in, and Amber and her company did such a good job that they started telling their friends who also had expensive cars about the GI Automotive Group. And Amber stumbled upon the greatest, most cost-effective form of marketing. It's called word of mouth. By the third month after opening GI Automotive Group, Amber was doing over $100,000 a month in revenue. When asked how she was able to grow revenue so fast, here's Amber's response. She says, I got up every day and I didn't stop. I had a baby, remember, 2-week-old baby, a baby strapped to my chest, and I was running around. I didn't stop whether I was at the shop or out talking to people about my business. She says, I was really inspired. I would get new ideas every day, and I would just get super excited about them. So I guess what drove our growth was just inspiration and being excited about what we were doing. Amber recently was asked, since you are now very successful, are you still running into haters who think you're going to be scared to break a nail because you're in the automotive repair business? Her response is, yeah, I still deal with that. But I just realize that there are people who are going to like you and some people who aren't going to like you. It doesn't really matter. Just put those negative people out of your life and focus on a positive and believe in yourself. She says, but I also meet people who think I'm just the face of the business. She's an attractive lady. That I really don't know anything about the auto business. And I'm like, okay, I just don't care. People can think what they want to think, whichever is most convenient for them, whatever they're most comfortable with is fine with me. Today, GI Automotive is highly renowned and recognized as the premier repair and performance shop in the Los Angeles area, catering both to luxury and exotic car owners. Not bad for a Midwestern girl who preferred dirt bikes to Barbie dolls. I was impressed with Amber, obviously. And because of the thing of the book I'm working on, I said, what made her what she is? And here's what I come up with. Amber Blonigan is a superstar in her industry today because she did 3 things. Number 1, she identified complaints. Some were about herself, but some about her industry. That's number 1. Number 2, she took each complaint and had an, I call the aha idea. Aha moment, I think is, I don't care what that is. She had an aha idea for each complaint. And then she used her aha ideas to create a multi-million-dollar auto shop business. Here are the complaints that Amber identified, some about her and some about the industry. Here are Amber's aha ideas. And at the end of each one, I have 3 questions that every entrepreneur should ask themselves to see if this will help them in their business. Complaint number 1. And it was a complaint that Amber had about herself. She says, I don't love what I do for a living. Remember we talked about that? She wasn't inspired and excited. Here was Amber's aha idea. She says, if you don't love what you do, you have a job. If you love what you do, you have an unstoppable quest. Love what you do. Amber was a good Series 7 broker, but that was not her passion. Amber's passion was cars and speed. Remember we talked about that when she was a kid? She turned her passion for cars and speed into the core of her new company, which I'm going to describe shortly, how she did it. Questions for entrepreneurs, small business owners. Do you have a job? Or do you have an unstoppable quest? There is a difference. What are you passionate about? Can that passion be the focus of your business? what you're currently doing, or a new business. Complaint number 2, which Amber felt and heard from others about the auto shop business that she was going to go into. She says, here's the complaint that she and other people had. People have to go to multiple auto shops to have body work done, interior work done, and engine work done in a car. Here was Amber's aha idea. Brilliant. She says, create a one-stop auto shop that does everything people want done to their car. Amber's target market were owners of luxury and exotic cars. She knew that. She wasn't going after the guy to fix his Ford Fiesta. She wanted the Maseratis, the Bentleys, the Rolls, the BMWs, that type of thing. She says, these people are accustomed to being treated like Ritz-Carlton VIPs. She says, my auto shop that I'm going to create will perform like a Ritz-Carlton concierge. Owner comes in and says, sir, what would you like? Or ma'am, what would you like done to your car? And the response was always, no problem, we'll take care of it. Just like a concierge. 3 questions for an entrepreneur. Number 1, can you become the Ritz-Carlton concierge in your industry? If yes, what do you have to do to become that? If no, why not? Complaint number 3. This is a general complaint. To quote her family, most auto shops are dirty with uneducated men dripping in oil. Here's Amber's aha idea. I'm going to create a Ritz-Carlton-like auto shop. That classy. Amber wanted a shop that was clean, professional, and catered to her target audience, which she considered them to be VIPs. Now, a few luxury dealers were doing that, but none of the independents were doing that. Amber was going to be the first. 3 entrepreneur questions for this complaint. Are you trying to cater to everybody? Okay, that's up to you. What if you catered just to your target market? Would that make you different? Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Number 3, how can you make your most profitable class of clients feel like they were Ritz-Carlton VIPs? Number 4, this is a complaint Amber had about her life. The people closest to me think I'm nuts about my new idea for a business. Here's Amber's aha idea, and I love the way this put. Screw the naysayers. Do what you think is right. Screw them. Amber did not get encouragement from her ex-husband or a family, but she followed her friend, the entrepreneur's advice. She ignored the negative people, which I think is a great idea, and she followed her passion. My question is for entrepreneurs. What do you want to do that others think is nuts? Are they correct? Are you nuts? Or are you on an unstoppable quest? Complaint number 5 about the industry. There aren't any women leaders in the auto shop industry, especially in the Los Angeles area in 2004. Here's Amber's aha idea. I love her confidence. The auto shop industry is starving for a female leader. Bingo. When she had that in mind, that was it. There weren't, and probably still aren't, many female-led automotive shops in the Los Angeles area, but that did not stop Amber. And matter of fact, it motivated her. She was going to be that leader. Questions for entrepreneurs. What areas can you challenge that has very seldom been challenged before? Are you brave enough and determined enough to receive the arrows like she did from her ex-husband and her family? And if you succeed, will it be worth it? That's it. Complaint number 6. Some people don't like me, and some people don't want to do business with me. And we talked about that. Here's Amber's aha idea. Don't spend any time trying to win over people who are not responsive. Ignore them. Spend time with people who want your help. Amber ignored the haters, she ignored the naysayers, and she ignored the people who did not like her for whatever reasons they had. She concentrated on those people who wanted her help and those people that she could help. Her business skyrocketed. Questions for entrepreneurs. What people are you still chasing because you hate to give up? It's your pride. How can they not like me? I'm the greatest thing in the world. They don't like you. Live with it, okay? Are you still chasing them out of pride? That's question number 3. How much better off would your business be if you spent time finding and servicing those people who want your help? And finally, the last complaint. This was a tough one for Amber because she's very pride. She says, you know what? I still feel crappy about the mistakes I made in the past that cost me a lot of money. And we've all done them, and we all have those regrets, okay? Here was Amber's aha idea. Stop beating yourself up. You're going to fail sometimes. You're going to look stupid sometimes. You're going to feel bad. Just know it's temporary and it will pass. You will not be successful if you are not disciplined and don't keep moving forward every day. 3 questions for entrepreneurs. What are you still beating yourself up over? Did you learn something from that experience, even if it was never to do that again? Time to get over it and move forward. And I'm going to close this twin and probably many more twins. I've come up with this idea, and I like it a lot. I'll share it with you guys. I'll share it with everybody. Every complaint, whether it's yours or somebody else's, is a business opportunity. Find them, aha idea them, then multi-million-dollar them. And I have in parentheses underneath, if you don't, somebody else will. And that's my twin for today.
Very cool. Very cool. Dick, you want to say anything about that? Remember, you're muted. Oh, there you go.
I unmuted. The thing that impressed me most about what Frank just presented is this lady was smart enough to identify her target market first and then built her program around that.
Bingo.
And, to me, that's the most important thing she did. I mean, obviously, they're all important, but too many people say, I'm going to open a business that don't even look at what their target market is. So I think I was impressed with that a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kind of like people that make websites, and of course, everybody will come.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that.
It's not the field of dreams, no.
Build a field and they'll come.
Yeah.
Not a field of dreams.
No.
But good.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So Barry White, alias Dick Bentley, you're up.
All right. And I'm going to apologize in advance if I cough. I'm going to try to get through this pretty quickly so I don't. And here I go. Power suggestion.
Can always mute yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably easier.
Yeah. Okay, last week I talked about this, the best business models of today and the disruptive nature. And I said the best models today are simple, destructive, and noble. And this week I want to talk about something that, and I'm not going to make this a Legal Shield commercial, but it's something that Legal Shield has provided me that makes my business world so much easier, and that's an app. Now, if you look at the companies I mentioned last week, Uber and Lyft and Blockbuster, Airbnb, Amazon, they all have apps that their clients can get to them on. With Legal Shield now, I can conduct all my business on my cell phone through an app. And better than that is the prospective members can do the same thing. So I looked at some reasons as why is it important for a small business to have an app? You know, the first one I came up with is be visible to customers at all times. Statistics show that the average American spends more than 2 hours a day on his or her mobile device. So when you have an app, they can get to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with ease. Okay, that's one. Second one is you're creating a direct marketing channel. Apps serve many functions. They can provide general info, prices, booking forms, search features, user accounts, messengers, news feeds, and much, much more. With my app, My members can just push a button, be in contact with the attorney 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's that easy. 3, you're providing a value to your customers. This is something that is, when I'm at a mixer or a meeting or whatever, and someone says to me, well, what's Legal Shield? And before, I used to try to come up with this 30-second elevator's pitch, and then, you had to knock it down to 16 seconds. What they're really asking me is what's in it for me if I were to do Legal Shield. So now when I'm at a function, someone gives that question, I open up my app, hand the phone to them, and I say, if here's what you would get. But more importantly, I say, if you want more information, please input your contact information, and I will send you the information. So I'm not handing out business cards. I'm not saying, well, I'll call you back or you call me or whatever. I'm getting the information right on the spot, real time, and the person is opting in for me to send him messages. So it provides a great value to the customers. You build brand recognition. The mobile app is like your blank billboard sign. You can do with it what you want. And there's also recognition. The more often you can get your customers involved with your app, the sooner they will be inclined to buy your product and or service. It improves customer engagement. No matter whether you're selling flowers, spa services, your customer needs a way to reach you. And that's in this day and age to me is maybe the most salient point of the whole app program is they need a way to reach you. We've gone through years of trying to, I have anyways, calling people out to do business. They never call back. You play voicemail. They don't respond to your emails. You wonder, did they get it? Did they not get it? Here, they can, you can reach them or they can reach you and instantaneously when they want, at the time they want, and the way they want. Okay, you stand out for the competition. If you have an app that is really customer friendly, user friendly, that the customer gets a value out of, then you're standing out from the pack. And the customer, you also cultivate customer loyalty. And that's something that's very hard to do, and you can only do it, I think, over time, where a customer will build loyalty. And again, if you provide them the vehicle to contact you, or not even contact you, but get the information they need and get it at a timely basis, it makes all the difference in the world. And again, I go back to my Legal Shield app. I used to say I have my law firm on retainer in my pocket. It's now I have my business in my pocket. I can, if I'm standing in line at a grocery store and I'm talking to somebody about Legal Shield, I can just whip out and give them a presentation in 30 seconds. So you have instant access to interact with your customers in a very professional way, rather than just saying, here's my business card, or I'll take your card. Then the guy said, well, I'll call you. Well, they never call you. I had 3 people, that have said that, the last week, and they didn't call back. So I think it's important that, you grab them right there. You get them to give you the information. With Legal Shield, they put the information in, and then I can send them all sorts of information. They have another opportunity to opt out if they don't want it. So you can really weed out the ones that are just, being polite or kicking tires. So the ones that are truly interested, to Frank's point with that lady, do business with the people that want to do business with you. And this is a way to weed that out and get it done. So I've abbreviated this because I don't want to start coughing all over everybody's ears here. But Peter, I guess the question I'd have is for you is, I'm fortunate I work for a company that provides the app, and there's quite a few. But if you're just starting a business out on your own, what's the best way for someone to acquire that tool for their business?
The best way I found is Fiverr actually will develop your app for you. I think it's less than $100. And not every company can have an app though, Dick. But I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but down on my bottom, that happens to be Legal Shield app. See, and that goes on every screen. My bottom doesn't change. Those are the most important apps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just click on it, and there I am, ready to rock and
Yeah.
roll, sign in.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm.
One of the other things that I think are nice about apps are you can push stuff out to people who want to have that pushed to. You
Right.
think about it, people sleep with their smartphones next to their head in bed. Now, what would you pay to have the ability to push a deal out
Yeah.
to already qualified clients that want to know about your deals? I mean, apps are priceless to be able to do that. You can send them out. I think you can even get invoices if there were things I were buying. You can get invoices off your apps, things like that. I think they're phenomenal. And like I said, not all businesses can get an app. I went to get an app for my Defender business because it's a self-defense weapon. Google will not allow it in its store, and neither will Apple.
Yeah.
So politics, folks,
Yeah.
but you may not be able to get your app in the store, but the app developer was the first one to tell me that he loved to take my money and develop an app, but he couldn't put it in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a shame, but that's
They'll allow you to sell stuff that nobody wants to buy, but saving lives, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do
No,
that.
forget
That's
that.
amazing.
Totally forget that.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But I remember, and we all remember, who's now out of business, restaurant Charlie Maroney's. I was trying to get him to get an app because I happened to be at the place that I do not like. Dick knows where it is.
Yeah.
And they had an app, and I downloaded that app, and they communicated to me. They'd tell me the daily deals and this thing, and it was the right answer to be able to push your business and let people know about things they want to know about.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, it's just a way to be able to communicate with the customer on a timely basis. I don't know the percentages of this holiday season. I know the overall percentage of online business surpassed people going to the brick and mortar stores. I'm not sure what percentage of that was on a mobile app, but I think it was quite high, and it's rising. And it's rising. So, I remember when I first started with Legal Shield, I had to fill out members' things on paper, write it, mail it in and all. Then I met Peter, and we worked on the websites and all those type of things. And then, you had to have a mobile website, to be part of
friendly. Yeah, mobile
friendly website. And, now you got the apps, and I think from a trend point of view, it's just going to keep growing. And, it's made my life much simpler. I don't have a 30-second elevator speech. I just hand them my phone and put in the app and say, here's Legal Shield, take a look and see what it'll do for you. Because that's really what they're interested. What are they going to do for you? And the guy looks at it and, he's either interested or he's not, so that's.
And unlike a small business, Dick, you have a huge, probably have a 5-story building full of marketing people, professionals making those, all the stuff for the apps. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, I've got a much greater advantage. But if I was starting out a business, I would try to figure out a way to see if an app would help me grow my business, be a little more disruptive in the business model. So
the plumbers even have apps now.
yeah,
I've run across, in my search and looking at websites, I run across not many, but a few plumbers will have apps, and if they come to a plumbing thing, they through the app, they can push your invoice to you. You can pay your bill through their app, and I mean, talk about convenient,
Yeah, yeah. Most of these service people that come into my house are dealing off an app.
Right. Here, sign here, push this button here. You got everything you wanted. Here, put in your credit card and hit pay this amount, and that's wonderful.
And I got an email the other day, sign up for Jersey Mike sub app and get $2 off a sub. So I did.
Good idea.
And then next thing you know, I get another buck coupon, for another one. So
they're going to push that information out to you to get you in that store and make a happy camper out of you.
Absolutely.
So, but is that a paradigm shift, a disruptive business model, Frank?
Big time. Yeah, it's again. I was thinking about we all have this. It was 11 years ago this was introduced.
Hmm.
Yeah.
11 years.
Yeah.
Business has been around, what, since the beginning of time? And 11 years ago, Steve Jobs says, what he said up in San Francisco, and everything changed. The world is here. It's not,
Yeah.
well, look at the ABCs and those networks. They're losing viewership on TV because people are here.
Yeah.
Newspapers we get our news here, right? It's,
No, I was talking to a lady a couple weeks ago, sign up for Legal Shield, and it was kind of in the spur of the moment. And she said, "Yeah, I want to sign up." In the past, I would have had to run out, get a paper application, or I needed my laptop or Wi-Fi access. I said, "No problem." I took out my phone, hit the Legal Shield app, and 5 minutes you signed up. So it's definitely going that way.
And Legal Shield has a business plan too.
Yes.
I will. I don't sell Legal Shield, but I am a business Legal Shield person. I upped it from personal to business. And if you're a small business, what better way to handle your legal fees, your legal issues than Legal Shield?
Yeah. So, just to wrap it up, like I said, I don't want to make it a Legal Shield commercial. I just brought the example because of how it's affected me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to any person that's thinking about starting a business up, I think to Frank's twin, identify your target market and then figure out ways that you can do it in a disruptive manner to make yourself different than the next guy to get your foot in the door and build your business. So that's kind of my wrap up. So.
All right. Well, anything else, Frank, you want to add?
no, we got it. It's
All right.
Good
Then
stuff.
say goodnight, Frank.
good night, Frank.
And say goodnight, Dick.
Good night, Dick.
All right.